All right. Good morning, guys. So let's wait for a few minutes. We'll start a class. Meantime, please provide your details in the chat box. All right. So please share your details in the chat box. We'll start class in bit moment. Meantime, you guys have any questions, you can ask me, or you can list out your questions. Once the class is complete, I'm going to answer you. So I hope everyone here for Microsoft Fabric. So anyone here for any other course, please let me know, like MSP and another. This is completely on Azure Cloud. All right, these are the components that we are going to discuss in our class. So whoever is not shared your details, please provide your details. And please stop your videos and So these are the main core components of your Azure Fabric. All right. So please share your details in the chat box. Your phone number, your email address, your name, so that my team will contact you. And there are two demo we have today. We have a demo one, that is overview on a fabric. Tomorrow we have a practical demo on a fabric. So we'll understand today's class the what is fabric, what is capability, what are the services are there inside your fabric, the licensing part, the charges, why fabric, why not the Azure. We'll discuss in detail level today's class. You'll have a more idea. So in the next class, I'm going to explain the practically and a comparison between the Microsoft VI and Microsoft Fabric. Okay, the both products are from Microsoft only. The platform which we are using earlier, that is for portal.azure.com. Now we are using one integrated, uniformed SaaS platform, that is a Microsoft Fabric. Okay, so please share your details in case you have missed out. Provide me details in the chat box so that the today's recording, along with the course content and some other documents, our team is going to forward you. So we will provide the daily basis recording, live sessions, one-to-one sessions. So currently I'm working, there are 3 classes are going on in the morning, 7 a.m., 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. batches are going on. This is for Microsoft Azure BA, that is Azure Data Engineer. This is for Azure BA, Azure Data Engineer, and same we have a evening batches like 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. So recently we have one-to-one batches for Microsoft Fabric. So we have planned for this batch, a new batch for Microsoft Fabric on a 7 a.m. slot. So we will be starting our regular classes for Fabric, Microsoft Fabric for 7 a.m. And once it is complete, then we will think about based on the students, we will be going for other schedules. For time being, this course is 2 months of course, mostly 2 months of course, where we are learning completely with Azure BI to your Microsoft Fabric journey. So we are going to discuss also what we are going to do in the Azure Fabric, Azure BI, and then Microsoft Fabric. There are two different platforms, and your Power BI, other platform. So these all are completely, instead of using some different platform, they migrated everything in unified process in your Microsoft Fabric. Alright, so today we'll discuss in detail level about on a fabric. So today I'll show you the details. You'll get more idea. Then next we'll go with a purely a practical. So my background is I have almost 12 plus years of experience in IT. Completely I'm working with the Microsoft products. I was involved in multiple tools. Okay, I worked for Azure BA. I take multiple classes batches on Azure BA where we multiple services are there. Azure Data Engineer, Azure Data Factory, multiple services. Okay, and your database. So I worked with a company called Wipro. Then I was moved to IBM. Then I'm working with a company called Digital. Here in Digital, I'm working as a team lead manager. I'm handling multiple teams, PAC region and EMEA region, where it is involved multiple countries. With the multiple countries, we have a telecommunication project. What is telecommunication? How we communicate? What are the services we providing? In detail, we'll discuss later in a project work. Okay. So this is what I'm currently working. Many students have been placed in my company for data factory. Very, very important. All right. So that is what we have a multiple batches on going on in our morning. And if you want to learn, go with the fabric. It is the latest technology right now, latest services. Instead of Azure BI, they are asking for Microsoft Fabric. Why Fabric? Why not Azure? There are many differences there. Going further, we'll see the differences. Going further, we'll discuss in detail level about this drawbacks, disadvantages, and what is advantages. That is also we'll discuss in detail level. Okay, so this Microsoft Fabric have a you may have a multiple questions in a Fabric. So I always recommend if you're going for any tool, you need to first understand what is the BA, what is the BA process. Okay, so you need to understand this any tool you go in the market, whether MSBI, Azure BI, Cognos, Tableau, ClickView. You need to understand the BA process first. Okay, without understanding the BA process, you cannot go for any other tools. Then we'll discuss what is the so Microsoft Fabric. Okay, what are the services are providing under the Microsoft Fabric? Services are providing under the Microsoft Fabric. Okay, we'll discuss that. And then we will see what are the capabilities. That is more important. What are the capabilities? What are the capabilities of Microsoft Fabric? This is very, very important. What are the services? What are the capabilities? And how to create a Microsoft Fabric license account. Okay, we'll see and how the charges will be applied. What are the or how the charges will be applied. What are the charges will be applied on Microsoft Fabric. So this Microsoft Fabric is a SaaS platform. Okay, Microsoft Fabric is a SaaS platform, software as a service platform, as a service platform. Software as a service platform, which is unified platform. That means all your services migrated into one single place. where you can use for your data engineering, you can use for the data analysis, you can use for the data science. There are three major approaches you can do with your Microsoft Fabric: data engineering, data analysis, data science. So exactly where we are using this Microsoft Fabric. These are the main three important components where which Microsoft Fabric is integrated with all this platform. Where you have data engineering part, data analysis part, data scientist part. So the capabilities of a Microsoft Fabric is this one: a storages, one lake, data pipelines, data engineering, data science, that is ML model we are going to develop. You can store your data in terms of relational databases. You have a data lake house. You have a data storages, real-time intelligence you can do. At the same platform, it is giving you Microsoft reporting where you can design your reports and dashboards. So the capabilities of Microsoft Fabric is your capabilities of Microsoft Fabric where you can do inside your Fabric data storages, data injection, nothing but your ETL processing, your data science where you can develop your ML models, machine learning models. You can use your data modeling, nothing but you can design your multiple semantic models, and definitely you can do the reports and dashboards. You can design reports and dashboards. So what are the services are providing inside your Microsoft Fabric? As I said, you have a lot of services inside a Microsoft Fabric. So as I said, your data pipelines, data engineering, where you can connect your Spark. What is a Spark? We'll discuss in detail level. That is one of our framework. On top of that, we write some Python language, SQL language, some other platforms to data processing purpose we use. So these capabilities, the services, whatever you are seeing the capabilities inside this, there is a multiple again services are there which is providing by your Microsoft Fabric. Nothing but your storages are divided again in the form of data lake. On top of that, it was used design on higher level, that is data lake house, which where you can store any format of data, whether it's a structure, semi-structure, or unstructured format. Whatever the format you required, structure, semi-structure, or unstructured format, you can save your data. Okay, so there are three different formats we can store your text files, your CSV file, your JSON file, XML, videos, images, any format. On top of this one, if you want to access this data in a form of table, there's a there is a process called delta lake process where you can access this structure or semi-structure or unstructured data in a form of tables where you can easily write having a basic knowledge on SQL, having a basic knowledge on SQL. So whenever you connect to your any data lake, why we required a data lake? The first question is, sir, why we require data lake? So you people know like there is a history of In 90s, we maintain databases. Then we come across with the data warehouse concepts, because in databases we can store the OLTP times transactions data. Then to store your huge volume of data, we come across with a concept called data warehouse. In data warehouse, to maintain is very costly. Again, what in terms of costly? You require the resources, you require ETL tools, you require to maintain data warehouse, extracting, transforming, and then what required informations are there, we are loading into the data warehouse. In earliest 90s. So that is only the one storage where we are working with, and in that place we are extracting, and what business are required for reporting, we are only storing those level of data in huge volume. In historical data we are saving inside your warehouse, data warehouse. Then the data, as it becoming a huge velocity, variety, volume, right? It is multiple ways it is increasing the data. With the multiple platforms we are getting a data, we cannot restrict it in data warehouse. You cannot store any different formats of data in data warehouse. That is what we come across with a concept called data lake, where it store. The concept of data lake is bring the data, stage it. You first load, then think what you want to transform. In earlier case, first think what you want to do, then load it. So here we are pre-planning it. Pre-planning it. What we require data, what we want to store, we are pre-planning it. When come across with the multiple formats of data, we first load it and then we'll think for what purpose we required for a data. So that is what we process here is extract, load, then transform. But here extract, load, extract, transform, and load. But when it comes to the multiple formats, we first load the data, then we'll think what we require data for transformations. So now the data, again, data lake, which is not going to help you with a multiple securities level. It is not in bring into a proper structure. We cannot extract directly by connecting the table formats. So on top of this data lake, the layer was added. The layer was added. The same concept data lake, only the layer was added with a concept called delta lake process. So delta lake is again an open source framework. On top of that, on data lake, it was added. It was attached on top of data lake called delta lake. So that combination we call here as that combination it is giving you to perform your data warehouse concept, and it is help you to perform your whatever the format you want to save. So data lakehouse is a combination of both. It giving you data warehouse concept. It is giving you data lake concept. Combining that both we call as data lakehouse. By adding the layer on top of this layer we call as delta process. This is going to store in backend in Parquet formats. Sir, what is Parquet format? How to create it? How to manage? You no need to do anything from backend. It is everything is ready for you in Microsoft Fabric. You just need to use for your projects. Okay, you are not developing any sort of systems here. So that is we call as data lakehouse. Then another service that we have inside your, as I said, for storages, we use this multiple storages, and we have a concept called, okay, so data storages, we have again warehouse separately where you can easily maintain your structured format. That is a table schema based format. if you require. Okay, there is a real-time data. We have a real-time data, that is KQL databases. KQL database is another database where we have real-time storages. Okay, so this is called storages. Then again on a data injections, what we have inside a data injections. So data injections, nothing but you are generally you're following the insertions method, the ETL processing method. ETL processing method. So you can do data insertions by using a concept called a data pipeline called a data factory. So here you can create data pipelines. So it is a UI based. You can easily work on creating a multiple data pipelines. Then we have a concept called data flows. Here you can, this is also help you to process your data in different targets. We have another format called Spark notebooks. Generally, you people maybe heard about in your Databricks, right? The same concept, it is included. So in Databricks, having a Spark framework, Apache Spark framework. So where you can write your code in terms of some PySpark or some Scala, some R language, some T-SQL language, you use it. If you don't know also, if you still not know the PySpark, if you have a basic knowledge on SQL also, you can work on Spark notebooks. You don't know how to do, there is a ramping, the process is there. By using that, you can build your own codes. Okay, how to build a code, I'll show you in coming classes. Okay, same PySpark code through UI also you can build it. So this is also the Spark, Apache Spark notebooks you can create. This is for your big data workload. Big data workload. So why we require this? So for small data, still you can manage it with the data flows. But for a big data, real-time data, we required Spark notebooks. Okay. On top of that, you can add your data science ML models. And you can design your ML models, you can analyze the process. So data modeling. What is the data modeling here? Data modeling is nothing but it is giving you a semantic model. So if people if people come from the reporting background, they know the semantic model. What is semantic model? Semantic model is nothing but we are designing the schemas. What is a schema? Maybe having a relationship between the fact tables or dimensions tables. Making a relationships between both tables to get a proper insights where we can design multiple schemas, star or snowflakes. Some different formats, different star, snowflakes, galaxy, multiple things are there. So mostly in real time we use star or snowflake schema we used. So where you can design your semantic model for your multiple data, either your data lake or data warehouse. Here can be designed for your data lake house or for data warehouse also you can create. Okay, either for the data lake house or you can create for data warehouse the semantic models. Once the semantic model is created, you can connect your reportings where you can design your reportings by using your Power BI tools. You can create your reports and dashboards. So where all you are doing this one, you are doing everything inside your Microsoft Fabric. These are the services which end to end providing by your Microsoft Fabric. So this is how the details. Okay. So let's see how we are managing everything here. So if you heard in Azure, see, this is everything. If you want to purchase the services, these are the individual services. In earlier case, what happening? Let me give you example. In Microsoft Azure, what actually we are doing it. So we have a multiple sources. The data is coming with a multiple different formats. So we cannot restrict the data is coming on multiple places. So what actually we are doing in that one is, let's example. So if you want to extract this data, we are using the ETL tool. We are using some ETL tools. Okay. We are using some data factory tools. And this data, whatever the data we have, we are bringing into one lake process. And from there, what we are doing, we are migrating and we are processing the data to the data warehouse. And from there, again, we are developing some semantic models. And top of that, we are adding your reportings here. Here they are adding some reportings with the multiple connectors, whether your Power BI, whether your SSRS, whether it's your other Tableau, ClickView, we are adding it. So now the situation is data may are coming from, as I said, in a multiple different format, unstructured format. That is your JSON or XML, audio, video, document. Okay, multiple formats. Data may come from the databases, multiple CRMs or multiple stages. Data may be in semi-structured format, JSON, XML, and Parquet or other formats. Or maybe you have some other apps, APIs, Get API or REST API, whatever it is. So what we are doing it for data injection, either we are using ETL data factory pipelines, where we are extracting it based on your requirement, and we are performing some transformations out of them, and we are loading this data to where in your data lakehouse. This is your data lakehouse. And from there, in case of you are doing some modeling, we can connect your data flows. Okay, there's a concept called data flow. In case of some transmissions and all, we can connect your data flows and we can load this data to your data warehouse. In data warehouse, again through data warehouse, we can design some your semantic models, nothing but your star schema or snowflake schema. That is your data modeling, because it is easy for your reporting in terms of having relationships between the fact and the dimensions tables, one to one, many to many, and many to other format, and then followed by your reporting, whether your Power BI, whether your SSRS platform. Okay, in earlier case, what happening? Whatever data which is coming from these multiple places, okay, into multiple places, we are using multiple different cloud platforms. For this model, we are using one concept here. We are using called your Azure BI process for your data engineering. Then for your, again, under this one, we are using the Azure portal, that is portal.azure.com. Separate cloud we are using for that. Even for your connecting your Spark and all, we are using other frameworks. Let's take example your Databricks only. In case of you want to connect your Spark notebooks, to process your big data workload, from whether it is in the data lake or in the data warehouse, we are using again a separate portal, that is Databricks community editions or other portal we are using for Databricks. And similarly, for your semantic model along with your Power BI process, we are using again a different platform, app.powerbi.com, right? Powerbi.com for your reporting purpose or dashboards multiple platforms you are using. You're paying a separate cost here. This cost is based on pay as you go process. Databricks, again, it is based on the clusters, nodes, worker nodes, separate payments, separate costing. Whatever the data it is, whether it is structured data, whether it's semi-structured data, whether it's unstructured data, whatever the data it is inside your data lake or data, because this is a staging area. This is a landing area where we stage here, land your everything data, and from there we process what we require through data flow, Gen 2, Gen 1, whatever it is. So the costing, the pricing is completely different on different platforms. So data engineering team separately, they need to choose a separate cloud platform. A big data workload, they are using Databricks and separate platform. And as well as same time, they are using for data modeling, Power BI app, or the licensing cost is very, again, costlier. The licensing part for your data models where you're designing through Power Query or some other platform you're using it, right? Power Query you're using for transmissions, for modifications, and other lot of things you're doing it here. And similarly, you're using a app.powerbi.com. For that, you require a license, premium, pro, separately, and separate costing for this one. So what Microsoft come across nowadays, even though it was introduced last 2 years back, the Fabric, this entire picture, they form in one platform. This entire picture they bring into one platform called Microsoft Fabric. They completely, the entire picture they bring into one Microsoft Fabric. So you no need to go for any other different portals or for a different pricing tiers. Microsoft come across one portal where the data engineers come into that. Data engineers can come into that. Data analysis. What is it? Data analysis team will come into picture. Data scientist picture can come into this one. Data ETL developers will come into that. In one workspace, all can work together and form the BA process or BA solution. And you no need to pay for a separate costing. There is a costing based on the capacity. There's a process called capacity. There's a multiple capacities we have, starting with F2, F4, F16, F32, F64. The in free trial, we're going to get F64, where you can do entire process. Where you can do everything inside your F64. So this picture can be created with a free account, Microsoft giving you a free account with a capacity for F64, and that is for 2 months. Easily you can practice. And this is a free account. You don't need to pay for anything. You don't need to pay anything for that. But in Azure, it is only for 1 month trial. 1 month trial. You need to purchase individually services. Let me show you a quickly overview on this one. Let's go to the portal.azure.com. So you need to log in. You need to have an account for that. Let me show you the accounts types also. Let me write here so that I'll give you this note. So here what happening in Azure BI or data engineering process, you need to create a subscription where you have a type of subscription. We have free subscription or free account, you can say, and you have a pay as you go process. Pay as you go process, where Microsoft giving you to purchase anything 200 USD dollars. That is only for 1 month, and this is you need to pay from pocket. That is a payment on monthly basis, yearly basis, monthly basis, and your quarterly basis, however you want. So my subscription is monthly basis. Okay. Similarly, your Microsoft Fabric is giving you capacity basis. Capacity basis. Okay. Capacity basis. That is F62, F62, F64 for free. They're giving up to F64 capacity. So what is capacity and all? We'll discuss, because in a Microsoft Fabric, it charges only on charges on based on the capacity and based on the storages. Remember this point. So capacity is nothing but a kind of computation power. Computation power. Okay. So the computation power nothing but it include like CPUs, memories, RAM, input output units, because there's a inbuilt nodes, inbuilt capacities. If you want to increase the performance of this one, means you need to increase the capacity, which will give you a lot of other features. And storage is like very rarely, per GB it charge some amount. Per GBs wise, it will charge very minimum amount, some 0.1 like that it will charge in storages. So where all this information is stored, Microsoft what happened? They whatever you're working down with the storages and all, they are introduced one concept called one lake. One lake, similar like your OneDrive. Whatever the data storages you are doing, everything we can store inside your one lake in your local system. So let me quickly show you this process. One is portal. So to go to this portal, as I said, you required the portal called portal.azure.com. For Microsoft Fabric, you need to go app.microsoft Microsoft.fabric, or you can log in with app.microsoft app.powerbi.com. Okay, you can log in with this one, or even for Power BI also we use the same portal. So let's see here, portal.azure.com. This is a place where we can do your data engineering process. But here in Microsoft Fabric, you have everything: data engineering, data pipelines, data science ML models, data warehouse storages, data lake storages, delta lake process. You can connect your other different formats. You can do the reporting as well at the same time. Whatever you can do, that everything is migrated inside your one lake. This is nothing but like a projects, multiple projects. In one account, you can do the multiple projects. In Azure, we call as services. In Azure, we call as resource group. Here we are calling as workspace. So the only is difference. We are creating a workspace for our project. In Azure, we are creating a resource group. The only that is the difference. Here you have everything for individually costing in Azure, but here it works on the capacity. That is what we have a concept called unified service process. SaaS platform. Okay, unified, everything in one centralized place. So this is my Azure portal. For each storages, I have to pay separate costing. Each storages, I have to pay separate costing. Even for the Databricks also, you have to pay separately. Let me show you separate how it is separately charging. Can you show me? Yes, definitely I'll show you. See here, the pay as you go service. This is my one type of subscription, which I'm paying monthly basis billing. Monthly basis billing for my batches. So cost analysis. You can see the cost. See, not only the costing part, there are many other difference I'm going to give you going further. Not only costing part, Yes, definitely this is one of the matter, but there are many other costing. There are many other differences are there when comes to with your fabric and this one. So simply understand the fabric is a uniformed, which migrate everything in one centralized place. Okay. Here we can see there is a multiple each services you have a separate costing. Each services you have a separate costing. So you can see the monthly invoices, last 3 months invoice, last 4 months invoice, however you are costing it. Data factory separate costing. These are the projects. These are the project resource groups we call. And similarly, we call in Azure, in a fabric, we call as workspaces. So here there is a data factory, SQL database, storages, virtual machines, networks, logic apps, key vault, bandwidth, data lake. These all are storages. Multiple storages, multiple tools, separate cost here. But in terms of Microsoft Fabric, how it charges? Microsoft Fabric capacities. Okay, it's nothing but CUs. Here we call as data transactions unit. Each services have different values. When talk about your data factory charges data integration units. When we talk about the SQL database, it charges data transactions unit. When we talk about the storages, it charges based on the capacity, the storages capacity, how much you stored. Okay. Similarly, in a fabric, we call as CUs or SKUs. So there are multiple SKUs or CUs we have. You can see the Microsoft Fabric licensing cost. Okay. See, this is my one tenant, nothing but one main account. Inside one main account, you can add multiple capacities. One capacity is allocated to 3 projects. Another capacity is added to for another projects. These are the workspaces. So leave over that. You may be having confusion in that time. Now I'll just show you the capacities accordingly. We can see the pricings also. So it started with the capacities F2 to F64. This is my trial capacity. Trial capacities. Even you can do your all your data engineering process along with your Power BI reporting as well. And this is my higher. You no need to go for separate costing for this one. For data engineering separate costing, you don't need to go for it. You can use this trial version. Okay, you can easily create that. It works on the workspaces. Here we works in Azure called resource groups, but in Fabric it works on the workspaces. So to log in with this one, again we go with app.powerbi.com, or you can directly go to app.microsoft fabric, fabric.microsoft.com. Okay, or you can how you log into your portal for your reportings, app.powerbi.com. This is how you go and log in for your reporting. In that reporting only, some extensions are added. Some extensions are added. Reporting. What is that? I'll show you. Okay, app dot. Fabric app dot. So this is your Power BI interface. Okay, this is your Power BI interface. where you can develop your reports and you can publish your reports here in this workspace. Similar kind of concept. So when you log in here, there will be having a fabric concept. The moment you click on the fabric, you will get some capacities here. Okay. Inside this one, you have a capacities. So this is one of the user which is created from the Azure, or you directly want to create from the Azure. Okay. Here also you can directly create as a service inside a fabric. Let me switch to this one and I'll show you the costing also fabric. Directly you can create fabric from the portal, or you can create from portal.azure.com also. From here also you can create a fabric. But for that you required on.microsoft.com email ID. For Gmail account you cannot create. Okay. So here you can create the fabric account. Once you create a fabric account, you can create the service here. This service is different capacities having different pricing units. These are the different pricing based on the capacities, based on the capacity units CUs. So they are giving you this capacity for your trial, with you can do all kind of stuff inside your fabric. Okay. So you can see the pricing and you can use your calculator for what are the services are there, each pricing they are giving you. Okay, for each storages and all it is showing you. So you can directly create from here wherever you require, and this is account is required. Administrator must start with your domain with on microsoft.com. Okay, or else directly you can create a free account. You don't require any premium accounts to pay monthly basis billing. You can practice with a still my 40 days is left. There is a 2 months 60 days trial they are giving you with a capacity unit as with a capacity unit called F64. You can see in your admin portal where you'll have a capacity called F64. Okay, we'll go through this portal once, so you'll have a more details. F64 capacity, and this service is something like you can pause anytime. You have a pause option. In Azure, there is no pause option. You have to pay the amount. Whether you use or you don't use, monthly basis billing you have to pay in your Azure process, in data engineering process. But here, if you're not using, you can pause your services in your Microsoft Fabric. But in Azure, definitely you have to pay the services. Even you don't run it, you have to pay. So there are some components. There are different components we have inside your Fabric. We'll discuss in detail level what are the different components inside your Fabric. Okay, so different workloads we have. So where you can do data engineering process, as I said, same picture which I have shown you. Data pipelines, your data ML models, your data warehouse concept. You can create your databases. You can apply on data lake or delta lake tables. You can create a reportings. You can use a real-time intelligence. Lot of many things are there. Okay, this is on high level for your data engineering process. And there are many other services are there where we can use inside your fabric. So going further, next 10 to 15 years, next will be more requirements on this one. So people having just one knowledge will not sufficient. People having one reporting will not sufficient. Now, as I said, many companies are required multiple skills person. Just having Power BI reporting is not going to work. In a Power BI, you need to learn this all concept. Having data engineering, just ETL is not going to work. You need to learn everything. What is data lake, data warehouse, data lakehouse, Delta Lake, the Spark notebooks, Apache Spark, how to create PySpark, how to write a code, basic code, basic code. I'm not asking you to write a lengthy code. That code also is very easy. It is similar like SQL. A prerequisite, at least you need to understand the SQL language. And I'm going to show you comparison. I'll give you, we have a comparison between the PySpark and this one. I'll give you that notes as well. So very simple. Tomorrow we'll see the practically how to use and going further, I'll give you this document as well. So, okay, don't worry about that. Where is this? Okay, no problem. I'll show you in the next session. There is a difference. We have option. We'll discuss in the next class. Okay. So practically, I'll show you in this tomorrow's class. Today we have just overcome with all these points: fabric, fabric services, fabric capability, fabric services. Okay. And tomorrow practically I'll show you how to do that. Okay. So today just we have discussed about fabric basic, and tomorrow I'll show you practically on Microsoft Fabric. Okay. Any questions? Any doubts here so far, guys? Please let me know if you have any questions, doubts.